Hey everyone, Brian here, and this is a response to Zarni's. I'm just going to call you Zarni, my friend, because I can't really pronounce your name that well. That'll be on YouTube. But anyway, I just saw Zarni. I just saw your first part of your DVD Disambiguation review video where you talked about where you compared the comics to the cartoons and to the movies, and you do bring up a lot of good points. I mean, the fact that the original comics are far different than what the cartoons were, but are more similar to the more current cartoon that came out in 2003, and it's still going today, even though some people feel as though they might be trying to water it down. And you're also right in the fact that they did incorporate a lot of things from the cartoon, or some things from the cartoons, into the movies, like the pizza, April being a reporter, things like that. And how the cartoon nowadays on the 4Kids, formerly Fox, Foxbox, incorporates more of what we read in the original comics. The fact that she was a former assistant to Baxter Stockman, and you got the Utrons and things like that. Now, you did briefly mention the comics of Archie Comics, by Archie Comics, and you're right, they are based off the cartoon, but there's something that you didn't mention. The fact that the comics, which I have right here, if I can grab one, these comics, and this is actually one of the super specials, or one of the monthly or bi-monthly specials that they did, that these comics adapted a few of the episodes, adapted the beginning and a few other episodes afterwards, but then started going down their own path. And they became more, how do I put it, they became more, well, they became their own books, they became their own stories, and the stories actually became a little bit more violent than what you saw in the cartoon that it was based upon. And of course they made an adaptation of the movie. I don't know, I think Mirage Studios did one as well, but this is an adaptation as well. And of course they introduced new characters. As a matter of fact, one of the newer characters they introduced was the Mutant Animals, the Mighty Mutant Animals, who unfortunately got killed off later on in the series. I don't know why. Because there was a cartoon being planned for them. And then of course they introduced another character that became a stablemate of the series for a while. And if I can find her or show her to you, I want to get a decent picture of her. I have a lot of the comics, a lot of the Archie comics, that is. But like I said, I'm trying to find a very decent picture of her. She's in here somewhere. But, they introduced not just her, but a lot of other characters. Like this guy here, Armageddon, was one of the characters. They also, Venometa X, these characters were sort of like from the future. They employed that. Well, that's not a good picture of her, but we're getting there. Here we go. This right here, this character right here, was one of the new characters. It became a stablemate for the series from issue, I believe it was, what issue was it? I think about the end of issue 28. From the very last panel or page of issue 28 all the way up to issue 70. Her name, I talked about it before, her name is Ninjara. Her real name is Yumiko. We're never given a real explanation as to why she's named Ninjara, possibly because she turned her back on her people or something, I don't know. But she went back to her people to help them out. And she becomes, as not just a stablemate of the team, where she helps them out almost in every issue, excuse me, but she also becomes the girlfriend of this guy, Raphael. Now, that's one of the major differences between the comic and the cartoon, though, that it was based upon. The major difference was in the cartoon, Raphael had another love interest, although she appeared in only in one episode, and that was Mona Lisa. And that was in the episode Raphael Meets His Match. Now, like you said, you know, a lot of things are different between the comic and the cartoon. However, the cartoon that the Archie comic was based upon, the one that you said was watered down, started to get a little darker as it started to go into later seasons. As a matter of fact, I think it was towards season 8, I believe, they started to really get darker. You know, because that's when, you know, CBS introduced the whole Action Zone deal and things like that. So they started to get a little darker. And on this disc, you have 4 of the episodes, I believe, from season, I think it was season 10, I believe, or season 9, where you see an example of that. And they also have a new antagonist in the episode. His name is Dreg. I think I can... Yeah, here we go. The 4 episodes that are on here from the... because you can read it down. It says episode 187, 188, 191, 192. Beginning of the End, The Return of Dreg, Mobster from Dimension X, and The Day the Earth Disappeared. Now, Dreg was also a new character. It was actually the new antagonist to the Turtles. And the way they set him up was the fact that he started out posing as sort of like a peacemaker, trying to make the Turtles look bad. But then in the end, the truth about him is revealed. Well, and it's during these 3 seasons that it becomes a lot darker. We get introduced to a new character in Carter, who has a mutation that he turns into this yellow being with spikes on him. And then at the end, he goes back to the future to kind of cure his mutation with 2 other characters that are introduced. I think the name is Landor and Merrick. And I think that's about how the series ends. I'm not really sure. Actually, the series ends when the Turtles, I think they destroy Dreg by pushing him through a portal back into Dimension X, where he blows up along with Krang's suit. And here's season 4 that I mentioned about the 5-disc set. But and you also talked about the action figures. These are actually the action figures based off the cartoon, the recent cartoon right here. So these are all 4 of them right here. These are all 4 of them. So, but anyway, that is, in my opinion, in just a short term, the main differences between the cartoon and the comics. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of differences, a lot of similarities, a lot of things that were put into the movies from the cartoon that was made in '87, things like that. But overall, you know, like I said, the cartoon was the comic that the Archie comics that you were talking about was based on the cartoon, but like the cartoon we see now was becoming more darker and more violent in certain areas. But at certain times, I should say, in more of its stories, as they started to move along and do their own things. But that's all I have to say, and I hope you liked it. If you didn't, you know, I'm sorry, and Zarni, if I can call you that. If you got anything else, just let me know, and I'm looking forward to part 2. Peace.